Hello, hello. Hey, Sinistello. Okay, so I've had quite the break. I don't remember. Oh, I actually have it in chat. So I left at about 11:10, and it's now about 12:42. So yeah, normally I wouldn't have taken an hour and a half, but yeah, I wanted to take an extended break. This morning was kind of frustrating. We got done with. I showed this at the end of the morning stream, but I'll show it here too. So we got done with some very basic controller support. You can now use the right stick to move the cursor, and you can click things with this. So just those two things alone, just having the stick and left click makes the entire game playable. That doesn't make it great. So we are going to try to make it better. And we have some little things that we can do here, like we can press A to select build, and we can press B to select dismiss. So there are a couple things like that that we can do. And yeah, let's see how we can get this to work. We probably need this to be aware of the game state, but I'm still just going to tackle this kind of one step at a time. So let's start by organizing the to-do list, because I think that's probably the easiest way we can approach this for right now. So everything that was in ideas, I think I should just put into this. And then don't we have other to-do items here? Not really. Okay. To do. Make a special importance for the quick move menu. This isn't, maybe this is like toward the end, I'll say. Not maybe super important stuff. Selecting items. There could be a way to move the camera or cursor. There could also be a way to interact with the current view. Like the D-pad could switch between items on the ground. Honestly, I don't really think this is that important. Yeah, let's just kind of see how it goes as I do this stuff. So I guess I will make the ideas section here again. Now what? Yeah, so this is important, but I gotta accumulate what those even are. I'll just say considerations. This is something we should add. Add sensitivity options. Try out acceleration. Mark on scene that we have partial. Yeah, so this is like wrapping up. We could try that. And then, yeah, let's go get this. Okay. I did not talk about moving the mouse. Yeah. Without taking content scale factor into account. The mouse coordinates you get could be wrong. And then we need some motion thing here. Motion. So main has process, which has this stuff, which we're just going to copy paste. So this is, yeah, let's change all this to cursor left. This will be times some speed, constant speed equals 20 speed. Last mouse position is this stuff. This just goes here. I guess we could say vector 2 mouse position. Okay. This only works on desktop platforms. Where's that note about warp mouse? Here. See this. Okay. And there we have it. Hey, Ryan. Good afternoon. And we don't need the print. Okay. What was for lunch? I got this like pre-made pasta salad from Costco. I bought actually a lot of food from Costco on Saturday, and that was the last of it. So I got a pre-made pizza that I had to bake. And I'd say that was like, yeah, it was okay. It was like a 5 out of 10, maybe like a 5.5 out of 10. And I got some sandwiches. Those are pretty good. And I got that pasta salad. It was, like I said, a lot of food. And now I have no food anymore. So I think I might do takeout tonight and then maybe go to the grocery store tomorrow. What'd you have for lunch today? All right, let's close out all these other things. Honestly, I'm kind of play it by ear, I guess, because this is not such a fleshed out to-do list. I do think trying out acceleration, add sensitivity options to the settings. The real annoyance here is that we don't have separate settings menus. So this will inflate what we have. Maybe we should make pages at some point. Junk food? Well, what was the junk food? I'm curious. What constitutes a junk food lunch for you? Right, so move what I've done into its own component. This needs to be finished. This is more like cleanup stuff. Yep. Yep. I'm not going to even do that. Look through this issue. Yeah. It's also in cleanup stuff. And actually, that issue should mention that I need to mark this on Steam, right? Yep. Hey, Syntax. Welcome in. And thanks for the raid. I hope no one's watching an ad right now who came in through the raid. Because I see that one's running and it says it's not going to end for 2.5 minutes. So I hope you can all hear me. But yeah, welcome in. We're working on Skeleseller. We're adding controller support today. I'm guessing based on your name that you're also a developer. What were you working on? What am I doing here? Trial acceleration. Move this into some component. Hang on, I want to make sure I had all this written down. Yeah. Okay, I do. Yeah, so I'll show the game that I'm working on pretty quickly. I made a 15-second trailer, and assuming people are not stuck in an ad, then this will... Wow. Hang on one sec. Let me turn that off. There we go. Okay, so here's the trailer. It's 15 seconds. And that's it. Hey, Sony, how you doing? Yeah, so I'm working on this for a long time now. There's a Steam page. The demo's been playable for a while. It's got about 2 hours of content in the demo. But one of the things that we haven't really worked on has been controller support. And it isn't till just this morning that I got it working. All right, yeah, take care, Syntax. Yeah, I'll check out your stream. All right, weekend here. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for the raid. And have a good weekend. Yeah, so we have basic controller support. It's just a virtual cursor. But yeah, you can do all the stuff you would be able to do with a mouse now. And thankfully, you know, there are a lot of games where I guess if all you have is point and click in the game, then just a virtual cursor is all you really need. We don't have a lot of keyboard controls. Motobo, thanks for the gifted subs. Nice, nice, nice. Isn't that cheating? Isn't what cheating? I'm not sure what we're referring to with that. Okay, so I gotta go clean this stuff up. The title screen should have no changes. The title screen code should probably also have no changes. Well, except for maybe that eventually, but that's okay. And then, yeah, main is where I want to make these changes that we actually have. But I named everything Testeroni. We should probably rename that. Controlling a cursor with a joystick. Cheating in what way? Like not proper controller support? Yeah, I think if you were doing this very controller first, you design every UI such that it's to be used with a controller and it's very natural. But I don't think it's worth investing that amount of effort in Skeleseller for controller support, at least. So I want to do this stuff, and then I have a Steam Deck. I want to try playing the game from start to finish with a Steam Deck and see where the troubles are. So we should probably rename this stuff instead of, well, we should definitely rename it. Instead of Testeroni, we should probably call it like, I think cursor is pretty good. Yeah, cursor's pretty good. So now let's go rename all the testosteronies here to cursor. And then let's move all of this code into its own entire component. Now, this just needs a process and unhandled input, which I believe Node has, but I want to make sure. So if we just search for :node, yeah. And then we get to here. Oh, I don't need to do things that way. I could have just searched for, oh, now I need to reload this. I need to search for this. What are we overriding? Like, where's this come from? Can we even tell that? I guess I can just keep going up in the hierarchy until we get to it. It must be a node. Yeah, it's a node. Yeah. So then we'll make a node. Now the question is, what do we call it? And where do we put it on the file system? Node. This is going to be something like virtual cursor. And it's going to have a script. Well, let's figure out where we're saving this first. So definitely in scene somewhere. Probably UI. Maybe I should make a new thing here. I mean, it could just go in the UI folder. Maybe input. Okay, that's pretty good. Virtual cursor. All right, so save that. Now we attach a script, and now we need to do the same thing. Come up with a path for this. Source. Whoops. Source, UI. Yeah, I'll make a new input folder over here. Input and virtual cursor. Cool. And then we move everything from main. So we had the process function and we had unhandled input. And we just take all that stuff and throw it into here. Now there's a bit of a trick with this because we also changed the process mode. And I don't know for sure if we can put it into here. We might be able to. Let's try this really fast. And then up here, let's get this. This is going to get destroyed at some point. I'll do that soon-ish. And then put this into a namespace. Hey, Blue. How you doing? Game source UI input. Okay, sounds good. Input.getVector. Why is this a problem? Type or namespace does not exist. Oh, because I'm not using... What? Oh, no. Oh, I can't call this input. Or I have to change this to Godot.input. I don't really like that. Yeah, I don't think I like that. I got to come up with a better name for this. Maybe call it virtual input. UI input? No, because the folder's already UI. I think virtual input's probably good. I hate Darkstorm. Yeah, let's rename it to virtual input. And hey, Shiny Games. Could do using input equals Godot input. I could. The thing that I'm worried about whenever there's a clash of namespaces is I'm going to search for something like input dot like is, yeah, something like this. And I'll be like, well, I don't remember these functions. And I have to realize by just looking at the code, oh, this one's the Godot one. The other one's mine. Whereas if I name it virtual, then there's no clash there. I recognize I can work around the clash. I'm just saying I think it'll reduce confusion to rename it. I'm good. My game's out now, but I made the mistake of releasing in November. I think my wish listers had the release announcement lost in the sales wave. Wait, I can't load your past messages for some reason. It's broken. Can you share a link to your game? And congrats on launching. Do you know what like percent conversion you had from wishlist to sales? Where you says clash of usings with a .random Unity has clashing with systems one. Yeah, when it's two libraries that you're forced to use, I think it's like, okay, well, you might as well just work around it. But when it's a library you control and you could just name it something else, I think then it's probably worth just renaming it. So yeah, let's find this. It's, oh, what happened here? Why is this? I didn't save? Okay, I didn't save. All right, so virtual cursor is here. We're gonna make a new folder and call it virtual input. And then move this to... Wait, no, this doesn't matter. Oh, God. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. All right, well, I guess move it here. We're going to do that. And then also move the script. Can we just rename this to virtual input? I don't know why I didn't do that. All right, well, now we have an input folder on the machine that I don't want. I've done this in the dumbest possible way. UI input. Yeah, so this should be empty, right? Yeah, it is. Delete. And then source UI input should be gone. Perfect. But now virtual cursor should exist over here. There should not be a problem with having to use Godot.input, so we can just delete that. And then call this virtual. And problem solved. So we go add this to the scene in main. Add. No, not add. Instance. Virtual cursor. And we try running it. And that should work, I think. 1 to 2%. Okay, that does sound a little bit lower than normal. Blue ink. Story-driven RPG where you explore and upgrade a mysterious world to escape. I'm taking a look at this off screen. Interesting. And early access. I wonder how much early access has to do with that too. Did you have a demo? I see you have a playtest. Well, anyway, best of luck. And I don't think you should count your game out if there was, you know, like poor launch timing. I think there's always still a way to turn things around if there's a good game underneath all this stuff. Yeah, just do a marketing push. Yeah. Hey, Inter, what's your most favorite programming language? So my answer is almost always whatever I'm using at the time. And right now that's C#. So yeah, C# is my favorite language right now. If I preferred another programming language, I would probably just be making the game in that language. Now, that's not always true. Sometimes you kind of have to use whatever your engine uses or what your team uses or something. But in this case, yeah, I like C#. I think it's pretty good. Okay, so I just want to test the same thing. So we can do this, and we can do this, and we can still move this. Yep, sounds pretty good. Cool, cool, cool. Huh, is this a bug? What's going on here? Oh, I think this is a bug. Wait. Something weird is happening there. No, wait a second. Is this just... No, something's wrong. I can't select this with the right trigger, but I can with A? No, something's wrong here. How did this break? Huh. Let's get this in this. This isn't good. Pushing an update before bed. Tomorrow I'll make some new content. Nice, yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, so it lets me mouse down on this thing, but then not mouse up. But then I press a different button and it works. So I can press ZR on that and then A on this. But if I press A on this, it doesn't work. And if I press ZR on this, it doesn't work. That's incredibly bizarre. Because they're not even different. Unless I forgot to reload. Maybe I need to reload. That's the only thing I could think of, but that doesn't really explain anything anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on now. All right, well, let's close out of this. Undo, quit, whatever. And close out of this. No, not that one, this one. Okay, so now we're just in the one that I expect to be in. Oh, I could think of a potential problem here. Yeah, I could think of a potential problem. Maybe it's frozen because the parent is frozen. That wouldn't make any sense, though. It also wouldn't make any sense why one button works here and the other one doesn't. I can see that when I press A, it's selecting this in the background. That's weird. I wonder if it matters what I click this with. If I click this with A, it doesn't work. Oh, A isn't clicking. That's why. A is pressing enter on something. Oh, maybe pop-ups work differently then. Hey, Tatsu. That's a shame. That might be what's going on. And it might just be like this particular case as well. Also, I guess technically controller support won't help with this. We need to make it so the up and down. Okay, I gotta write some notes about this stuff. So settings, can't use pop-up menus like the music interval with just the mouse. It thinks, wait, what does it think? What does it think? No, it doesn't think anything. I don't know what's going on with that. You can press A to confirm the choice though. So it's not unusable, but then the game scale can't be changed with up and down. What's funny is it actually can be changed with the up arrow on the keyboard, but there's no up arrow on the controller because we remapped it to the camera key. This course not available. I think my site is probably broken, but all of this stuff is on YouTube on my channel over, wait for it. Oh wait, no, it looks like it's working for me. Maybe it's not working if you haven't claimed the course yet. Yeah. Anyway, it's all right over, where is it? Yeah, here it is. Wait, this is private. Why is this private? Huh, this shouldn't be private. Let me just make this public. How do we do that? Playlist settings? That's not how you do that. How do you make this public? Ah, there we go. Public. Okay, so now I can link this to you. Yeah, so that's where it is. Let me write a note to myself about that, which I don't know how hard that's going to be to fix. I think the Adam Learns site isn't letting people claim new courses. There's some kind of paddle error. Should probably just bypass paddle until we have paid courses again. Yeah. Okay, so this should be an easy enough fix. We probably can't use this either, I'm guessing. No, that's fine. And then we can click these, right? Yeah, that works. These work, I know that. It should be making sound pretty soon. Why isn't it? Oh, I have this set to 5 minutes, that's why. And I don't think this now fixes itself, so I think we wait 10 seconds, it's not going to do anything. We'd have to wait whatever the remaining time in the 5 minutes would be. That's okay, though. I can clearly see that this is working, and that's all I cared about. And then save, of course, works. 80 words per minute so far, introducing punctuation, really enjoying it. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, do you like the LEDs? I think they're great. All right, this works. Can we click links? Not that I really care too much. Yeah, you can. Oh, what? How is this working right now? Oh man, this is kind of interesting. So because I have the game open and because it's using that warped mouse position, I can actually use the controller as an operating system mouse, except for it won't let me click because the clicks only happen through Godot. How'd you handle localization? Not the system, but the actual translations, like simplified Chinese and all? So just the other day, like, I don't know, 2 streams ago or something like that, I did LLM-based translations. And I just went through the entirety of a language and just had it generate translations for every single thing in the game. And then we're going to get some volunteers, which I have not started doing yet exactly, but going to get some volunteers to go to this site, which is Weblate, which I'm self-hosting, which will let people click something like this and go to translate, and they'll see this, stun. What is stun in French? I don't actually know. So then they would type it in, you know, whatever it is, stun in French, and they click save and continue. And that's it. Now it'll just be translated. And at some point, I would go in here and do this. And click push. And that's it. It would be in the game now. So yeah, LLM-based translations, human-based editing of those LLM translations. Now, I have not really started this process yet, the human part at least, and I can't validate the translations myself. What I'm hoping for, I mean, at any point, you're going to have X% correct translations. No need for editing. Now, whether X is 0 or X is 100 is a totally different thing. I'm expecting that hopefully about maybe 40% are just fine. And that'll cut down quite a lot. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Is that what you would, if you saw that appear in a battle? Like, let's say you have a fireball and you'd see burn over the enemy. If you have a stunning attack, would you expect to see that over the... Would you expect to see this? Because, yeah, that would be part of the, what I assume is about 40% of strings that are fine. Anyway, what's nice is since I have a Copilot subscription and since Copilot lets you use 200 premium requests per month, I got all 8 languages translated. I mean, again, with an LLM using 16% of that. So it must have been 32 requests and it generated 80,000 lines of translations in that amount of requests. Well, the attack would translate to it, but that's not what I'm talking about here. The thing I was talking about was if a fireball would say burn when it hits an enemy, what would a stunning attack say when it hits an enemy? And in English, it'd say stun. So would you use that French word and replace stun? Because I recognize this would be translated differently. But I just mean if you saw like a status effect show up, just like how burn is. Pull out a special character like that, you got a crack keyboard layout. I have a couple of special characters on here that I get through a spanso. So like if I type apostrophe deg, it turns into degrees, or like a flat symbol for music, or I don't know. Yeah, I guess the E with an accent in that case. But in general, I only do this for characters I actually type. So I mostly speak English. I have learned some French. But yeah, that's coming through as spanso. So if you want to take a look at that. It's also what I use to type emojis if you ever see me do something like this. Can type any sort of emoji. I think you're translating them as nouns. And I get that this is unclear in English. So, yeah. Because I guess this word literally translates to stun, right? Because it's the infinitive. Anyway, I'll leave it to the people who are gonna. Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to. Yeah, if it's a verb, then they're fine. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I'd guess. All right. Thing with highlighting settings in the menu with controller when you change something, isn't there something bound as tab on your controller since it looked like it shifted focus? What? Let me see. Thing with highlighting settings in the menu with the controller when you change something. It looks like changing things works fine. I mean, this one in particular moves the stuff around. But yeah. Yeah, everything's fine. I don't see any like weird focus problems or anything like that. Highlighted the gear. Oh, that's because of me pressing enter on the screen, I think, when I was here. Trying to figure out how exactly that happened. Because I think I misunderstood what was happening. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So this has the focus. So yes, when I press enter, which is all this is doing, it's accessing that settings gear. And yeah, that's why that's happening. But I don't think that's a problem. All right, so we got this stuff working. I wrote down a note about this. Game scale can be changed up and down. It's very important that it can be. And yeah, let's go check this in, right? So discard that stuff. What is this? We should see cursor in here somewhere, right? Why don't I see it? UI accept is now. Oh, I bound it to. Oh, darn it. Okay, I do want this, but this is going to make it kind of annoying to merge in Kevin's PR. But that's, we'll just have to worry about that later, I guess. Yeah, we'll have to worry about that later. All right, let's ignore that stuff for now. So main, we have virtual cursor. Virtual cursor is just a scene with a node and a script. And we just need to go comment this stuff correctly. So let's go do that. Allow the virtual cursor to work even when the game is paused. Then this should say a virtual cursor that can be controlled via a controller. Yeah. Last mouse position isn't even used here. I always wanted to create a game of some sort, but my creative side holds me back. Very technical, follow a set of rules kind of programmer, and being creative is my weak point. Charlie, I think you should give it a shot. And I think I'd say, you know, I have this thing in chat about the 20 games challenge. This is for people who are brand new. If you consider yourself technical and you're a kind of programmer already, then I don't think you need to start with like making Pong. But maybe pick one of these games and just make it and see how you feel making it. Do you like it? Do you enjoy just the development side of things? Because if you think about it, even the things that you program, there's some amount of creativity behind the product, but you have probably not invested in that creativity. So for example, like if you work for, you know, company X and they're making some product, I don't know, some business to business sales thing, it's like, okay, you didn't probably come up with a product, but you're coding it. And if you enjoy the coding it part, then you'd probably enjoy making games too, even if you're not coming up with a game. And then you can eventually learn to flex that muscle for either game design or like, I don't know, maybe putting together a team or something that would let you make your own game, but it doesn't have to be like fully your own game. Yeah, 6 years in the industry. Yeah, so I'd say give it a shot. Even this weekend, like download Godot, see what you think. See how it feels. Why do I have 11 notifications on Discord? Hang on one second. Engage privacy mode. This to me seems like it's a spammer. Oh no, it's just a friend who's very excited. Oh God. I was like, the Discord's getting hit with an attack. It's not that. All right, so we don't use this at all anywhere, do we? We set this here, we set this here. Yeah, so this doesn't matter. So we don't need this. So this just needs to be vector 2, mouse position. This, same thing, vector 2. I shouldn't have deleted that. So I can type mouse position. Then we could make, I don't need this or this. We could make functions for these things. This is just sending an event. Yeah, so private void synthesize mouse pressed event. And all we need is a position and is pressed. Oh, and also I guess the button. At which point this isn't doing a whole lot for us, but fine. Mouse button, mouse button. All right, so this is going to be that. And then we can replace these with that. So it's left being pressed, and this is left being released. Easy, easy. Yeah, this is pretty clean. Now, technically, the position doesn't even need to be passed in, so let's just delete that. And then we can delete this and this. And it can only be one or the other here, so that's good. Tried taking an idea from a game jam a couple years back, but didn't go anywhere with it. Yeah, I think I talk about this quite a lot, that I say game dev isn't just like, it's not just the coding part. There's art, there's sounds, there's music, there's game design. There's even just things like balancing. You might like 3 of these. You might like all of them. You might like only one of them. You can still do game dev if you're doing even just one of these things. So I think it's just figure out what you like. And the things you don't like, you could shortcut in any number of ways. Like, I don't do art myself. I'm very bad at it. So we started with asset packs, and then we now have Quickie Joe working Actually, don't think he has an underscore in his name. With Quickie Joe working on the artwork, and this has been fantastic. And like, I would not have been able to do any of what you see here. I could have drawn the settings gear. I could have done that. But yeah, you would have had me draw pretty much any other graphic in the game. Probably couldn't do it. With a potion, nope. A carrot, nope. So yeah, don't let those things hold you back. That is still needed for the sake of those. And then this will change the mouse position on the OS itself. I wonder if this is going to conflict with Steam at all. I need to try that out at some point, so I'll write that down. See how my virtual cursor works through the demo on Steam. Does Steam try taking over? I sure hope not. All right, we're going to run this one more time, and then we're going to check that in. I forgot to check this UID file in. And I don't want to add it here now, so let's just move to trash. My virtual cursor exists there. Okay, so let's see. Boop. Yeah, looks good. Wow, pretty cool. Okay, add virtual cursor. This took a surprisingly long time due to some struggles and misunderstandings I had. What else did I want to say here? This does the bare minimum for adding a virtual cursor. There are no settings, no acceleration, and no affordances for any unusual UI. Yeah, those will happen eventually. All right, check it in. So that is now done. So try out acceleration. How do we want to do this? We go to virtual cursor. What we could do is we could keep track of a current speed. So private float speed equals, I guess, 0. And then private float acceleration. Sure, 500, I don't know. Okay, so now we just multiply by speed. And then as you're moving, we say acceleration or speed plus equal acceleration times delta, yeah. Okay, so let's just try that. This is the dumbest possible implementation of acceleration we could have. Oh, I never capped I never capped the speed. And it's not doing anything. What did I mess up? Speed plus equal acceleration times delta. So this should go up to 500 at some point. Oh, because the diff's going to be 0 because the speed is 0? Yes, okay. That's a problem. So what is this vector? I guess is the vector we care about. And then here we can multiply by the speed. Diff times equals speed. Keep doing that. And then we say speed equals math.min of the current speed plus this and 50. I don't know how fast this should go. It was set to 20 before that, so this is 2.5 times faster. Can you go back to the menu for a second and hover over a button and leave? I don't think the pointer changed. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it looks like it's changing correctly. So this is with acceleration. Oh, I never reset the speed. I got to do that. Else speed equals math.max. That, perfect. All right, so as I mentioned, bare bones implementation of acceleration. This is probably not going to feel great. I don't even know if I like acceleration in video games like this. I can't even tell. Yeah, I can't even tell what's happening. We should be in this case right now. Yeah, what is speed set to? 0. So it's just that 500 is too fast for acceleration. Let's set it to 50. This means that over the course of 1 second, we'll hit the maximum speed. Whereas before it was 1/10 of a second, which is why I probably couldn't notice it. So now it's going to take a second to get up to max. Okay, now that feels like acceleration. Interesting. It's actually not too bad. I think it should decelerate slightly faster. So maybe acceleration times delta times 2. And we just say like const float deceleration multiplier equals 2. And then replace that. Yeah, this is one of the things that's really hard to communicate via streaming. Like, you can't feel what it's like to have this at the acceleration that it's at. Oh, this feels a lot more sluggish now. Huh, turns out decelerating that fast does make a difference. Yeah, okay, so here's what I think I want. I think I want deceleration to be a little slower and acceleration to be also maybe a little bit slower. Like 40. You underestimate me. I'm a master backseater. I approve of these changes. Yeah, so it's like really sluggish to move from 0. I'd love for this to print the current speed. We could just print it to the console, I guess. Yeah, we don't even need to do anything special here. Let's do it this way, though. 0 dot number. That way it's not going to print like a million. Whoops, I didn't close the quotation marks. It's not going to print a million decimal places. Just try a bunch of values. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. And eventually we want there to be settings for this anyway. Okay, so let's see. Speed is 0. This is how it accelerates. I will eventually hit 50, and now I'm moving at max speed. Then it slows down. And it slows down pretty rapidly, actually. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess I need to like actually try doing something in the game. Wait, what's wrong? Why can't I press A here? Oh, right, because I never got that to work. I got to write that down. So battle map, allow for pressing confirm if there's only one battle that you can go to. Should probably also have sound on for this. I'll turn down the music though. Okay, so I want to do this again. Maybe deceleration should be a tiny bit, tiny bit different. Try to use the volume slider with controller and see how it feels. Yeah, I was doing that earlier. It's not too bad. So I can do this and select this. And yeah, it's working. I think this is where acceleration matters quite a lot. I also don't think I want the max speed to be as high as it is. So let's do what Saro suggested and export these directly to the editor so we can just change it on the fly. So we do it like this. Yeah. Hey, light up. Coding will come to an end in 2027? Yeah, maybe. And welcome to the stream. Public const. Okay, so let's do this. Float this, get set equals that thing. Great. Then capitalize that. And get rid of that. Okay, const field, delete the const. And then I want to get the max speed as well. Max speed is equal to 50. Hey, Kevin. Can we apply for it? Maybe. I don't know. And then acceleration is going to be 40. And then we just need to change this. Okay, so now we have a way of setting it through the editor. Let's go build this. And let's find the virtual cursor, close everything else, and hit play. And yeah, as Sarah suggested, I can now control this through the editor. Okay, so we have our max speed set to 50. It feels like it's a little too much to me, but maybe it's not. But let's try setting it to, let's say, I don't know, 25 just to see, or 16 even, doesn't really matter. Yeah, so it's definitely slower moving. I don't know what's best here. We got to come up with whatever the defaults are, that's all. We can probably let people customize these themselves. So yeah, something like that's probably pretty reasonable. All right, so let's set the deceleration to something really high, 14. So now whenever I stop moving the mouse, it goes back to like I'd never moved it before. So I can move, 1 pixel at a time. But if I set the deceleration to 0, then as soon as we get up to the max speed, it never actually lowers. So now I hit max, stop for a while, and I'm still at max speed. Schrodinger's, thanks for the resub. Happy 16 months. So yeah, this should be somewhere between like 0.5 and probably 1.5. And then acceleration, we can try faster acceleration, which means now it's going to take half a second to get to max speed. Yeah, very, very hard to tell what I should be doing with this. This is pretty decent, but yeah, I think we just need to expose this to users. Okay, well, at least we have the things now, so we can do that. But yeah, I think we will keep acceleration in. Okay. Anything else here? No, that's pretty much it. All right. Add acceleration and deceleration. This we're saving for later. I'm not doing that now. Okay, so now it's just make the game more usable. So let's start with something like this. Can't use the pop-up menu like the music interval with just the mouse. So why can't we? Game settings menu. It's this. This menu pops up. Well, this button pops up a menu. It is a menu. Type menu button. Yeah, what would stop that from working? Because this is an unhandled input and it's probably handling, well, no, it had to be handling cursor click and press and release. Why would it do that? Unless it's consuming everything, or maybe it happens in a different viewport or something. Mode disabled. Oh, that's translation. Cursor speed changes inside process. Deceleration will in theory be faster on higher FPS values, I think. Yes, that's... Wait, no. Technically, that's not true because we're passing in delta regardless. So it's always going to be based on how much time has passed, how many frames have passed. But this does mean that this is going to run more frequently. So I'm not actually sure what is correct to do there, but I don't think the player would ever notice a difference. Hope you complete all the work that you thought to complete. All right, yeah, take care, hard worker. Hope you have a good morning. I guess you're just going to sleep. All right, yeah, I'm not sure how we'll get pop-up menu to work. What is this called? Menu button? Menu button. And what are we even doing here? Unhandled input, maybe? All right, there are some closed issues here. 3:02 a.m., yeah. No, I don't see anything for this. I have a couple of hunches. One hunch is that it's in a different coordinate system. So what I'm trying to access here isn't going to work. How would we test that? I guess by trying to send an event at 0, 0. So if I click like up here. No. Yeah, well, that was a good try. Yeah. Actually, clicking outside this doesn't work at all for anything. Does it on here? It does. So yeah, something funky is happening. It's not like all mouse input gets messed up. If I click over here, it does know that I've clicked over there. Okay, where does it think it's trying to click? If I put a breakpoint here, thinks I modified the file. Pop-up menus are their own window. That's going to make this pretty hard. Okay, so there. I pressed it and it didn't even get invoked. So yeah. Something funky's happening. Is unhandled input even getting invoked? It isn't? Okay, there it did. If I press... What did I even press? I pressed Q. Q worked, but mouse motion and everything doesn't? No, now it looks like something's working. Mouse motion? R? How many keys did I mash? There. Yeah, this isn't getting hit at all. Only when I press a key on my keyboard. Wait, not even when I press a key on my keyboard. How does it make sense though that unhandled input wouldn't work that way? Godot input handling. I have to go to this page like once every month. Yeah, and find this. So focused window. Yep, that's the problem. I wonder how we fix that. You need to get the viewport for the current top window. Oh man, I wonder how we would detect this too. The pop-up is in a different window, so our input stack isn't even getting this. Maybe we could detect that a new window got the focus and then add virtual input into that Windows scene tree. Is that even smart? Oh man. Do they talk about this somewhere? Root window. Is there any sort of signal for this stuff? Signals. About to pop up. Is there a did pop up? There's visibility changed. And there's focus entered. I guess when focus exits the... We got to get the new window though. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of what we do. This is kind of tricky though, because we're going to be injecting into a scene that we don't control. Unless maybe what we could do is get an arbitrary node and add to its unhandled input, like this dot unhandled input. No, there's no signal for that. Is there a signal for any of this stuff? No. Scene tree must have a signal for sure. You could just move the cursor node to that window. But what I'm concerned with is, like, imagine that we wrote our own scene. we have whatever custom node, and we have a script, and underneath it is, let's say, like a sprite. And what we do is we just say like, oh, get children 0, and we try to set a texture. This will work because we only have one child in the scene. So now if we inject some like, yeah, virtual cursor here, what if Godot ended up doing something like this? I guess we have to trust that it isn't doing something like that, and we're only doing this for pop-ups. So maybe it'll be fine. Either way, it's worth testing. So when this is added to the scene tree, we need to listen. How do we even get the scene tree? Get what root? I don't remember how you do this. But I think there's a get root somewhere. So now what do I do? Get tree dot root. It's not called scene tree in that case. Okay, so get tree. Now what signals do we have in here? Node removed, process, script changed, tree changed. Anything about Windows? No, nothing about Windows. What about in root? Do we have something about to pop up? Yeah, so this is what I saw. Emitted right after pop-up, what? Right after pop-up call, before the window appears or does anything. I want after a pop-up has happened. How do we find that? There's about to pop up. Where is just did pop up? Pop-up centered, pop-up exclusive. Are these signals? Oh. I don't see anything here. Don't you have to do mouse stuff and GUI input so it picks up your actions? No, this is in a different window. So what's happening here is we have, this is Godot's stack. So the operating system sends a click to the display server, which sends a click to Godot, which then goes through all this stuff. This is on a window though. So now imagine that we really have this structure. And I took this and I made a second one of these and we like put it over to the side. So now it's like window 1 is the game. Window 2 is the pop-up. Window 1 is where we have an input thing that's just not being hit because the pop-up has the focus. Why do you want after? So I can add it to the... Adding it to the root should be fine. Are you saying the parent of main? Oh, never mind. I misunderstood. Okay, yeah, that'll probably work. You're saying instead of putting... Actually, we could just test this really fast here, I guess, right? We could do get node virtual cursor. Virtual cursor. I got to make sure that's where I think it is. Yep, it is. And then reparent. And we give it a new parent. And the new parent is going to be get tree.root. And that's it. That should presumably just be everything we have to do. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense, does it? Because this would be a different window. You can get the root to that pop-ups window and add it. No, but the window doesn't exist yet. That's why about to pop up isn't good enough for that, I think. I like super messed this up. Parent node is busy setting up children. Add child failed. Consider add child dot call deferred child instead. Not sure if you want to reparent or add a new one. Well, okay, let's go back to what I was originally thinking here, which is we go to virtual cursor and we listen for about to pop up. The problem that we have is this is before the window appears or does anything. And we're not even given a window. Shows the window. This is the current window. We need to know about the new window. Okay, Godot detect when new window appears. Is there a way to check if the game window is not in focus? Load scene is new window. Project window mode changes. How do I know the game window is on top? There's got to be a way to do this. Oh, maybe the pop-up itself has a signal, and we could just listen for that specific one. And anywhere we have a pop-up, we could just keep track of this. In fact, we know when we open that pop-up. Yeah, these do not tell us anything. Game settings menu. So what is this thing called? Music interval? Pop-up menu. Could we oh man, could we add the thing just to here somewhere? This doesn't have There's got to be a for each somewhere that sets up everything we have in game constants for the intervals. Yeah, here they are. Where do we use this? Here, set up interval controls. Add item. All right, so out of curiosity, what if I did pop-up.add child and then instantiated a virtual cursor? Instantiate. Virtual cursor. Virtual cursor. Isn't this info part of the lifetime of a node when it's created? So, okay, we have a pop-up menu for this particular UI element right here. Now let me take a picture of this. So this is a new window. We need to detect when this new window has popped up. And ideally, whenever any such pop-up happens. So also window mode acts the same way. And up here, language acts the same way. So if these were nodes that we made, we'd have the lifecycle events from the scene tree, things like ready or process. But they're not. They're things that we are using Godot's menu button for. So we could make our own custom component and then just check, oh, when this enters the scene tree, add a component to it. And yeah, we'd be fine. But what I want to find out is there some way to just kind of handle this for everything all at once? By just saying, oh, whenever there's a new window, just throw a virtual cursor into that window. And the more I think about this, the more I think this won't work. I'm not sure. Hey, Shaky. So yeah, here's what I think the problem is going to be with all of this stuff. Even if we get the pop-up working, I think that clicking in the darkened background won't work. Because that would be input in the old window. Why isn't that getting hit? Because we only send it to here. But then how does that make any sense? We must be focusing another window when we do that. Maybe if it's a pop-up, we can detect any click outside it as being a click that should close the pop-up. Maybe a combination of this and something else in display server. Get active pop-up. Yeah, maybe that'll work. Let me get the path of this thing. Virtual cursor scene copy path. Cool. Okay, let's test this. I don't think this is going to work. There's also get window list. Okay. Missing a semicolon because I didn't do anything here. I should probably print something out from there and just say like about to pop up. Yeah, I might as well. I mean, we can still test this. Don't care. Okay, so we click this. Whoa, the mouse is... Okay, this is kind of funny. The mouse is now stuck on the upper left of my screen on my first monitor. And it's stuck in like I'd estimate like a 10 pixel circle. And it's specifically a circle, which is kind of funny. It's not a square. Oh, it's not a square because I'm constantly setting the position back to 0, 0, I think. All right, well, how do I close this? Okay, thank goodness. I was going to say this is about to get ugly pretty fast. Oh man, it's been an hour. I should probably take a break and ad starting. Okay, yeah. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Okay, that's weird. The timing of the ad break is still got 35 seconds left. But close the game. Hey, Rockstar. Gonna want to pop up normally, then close it by checking for clicks outside. I'm not even getting the clicks to the pop-up window, though. Close the game. That's how I could reference them? Yeah. Yeah, so what I want to do is probably check this and see gg.print about to pop up was called. And then let's check these other things. Window get active pop-up or invalid ID. Plus this. Window get, how do you get this? This is from display server? Display server. Window get active pop-up. And how about in ready? Ready was called. So this should be probably -1, and then this should be some number over here. Hello, hello. I have summoned the cat. Hey, Physitronic. I'm doing pretty well. Today's been all over the place. Okay, so we take a look over here and here and then start a pop-up and nothing happened. Interesting. So yeah, we see ready was called a -1. That's what I expected, but then nothing prints out when we open up a pop-up here. Oh, hey, Ankibara. Sorry, I didn't say hi. It's called the new window. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Okay. So yeah, is there some way for me to detect that a new window opened? I don't know how we do that. It might be in the display server though. What's going on here? There it is, display server. Okay, what signals do we have? We have no signals. Window, mouse, enter, focus in, close request, force close. I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to do here. If a viewport is embedding windows, a viewport tries to interpret the event in its capability as a window manager. Next, if an embedded window is focused, the event is sent to that window and processed in the Windows viewport. If no embedded window is focused, the event is sent to the nodes of the current viewport. So maybe we could check to see when our current window is not focused. Maybe like get tree.root.focus. Focus exited. Yeah, but this might be when you lose focus on the entire window. And let's also have focus entered, I guess. I don't know. We're just testing things out at this point. Yeah, hi. Hi, you want to come sit down? Oh, good stretch. What a cat. What a cat. Hi. Hi. You'd call that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I just want to see, does this happen even when we... So it says focus entered, exited. Yeah, so when I change windows here, but it does tell us that it's exiting and entering with -1. What are we working on? Trying to get Abby to sit down. Working on controller support. And more specifically, we're working on this right here. How can we detect when we've opened a pop-up? Because this is a completely different input stack. You know, the cat only just started doing this like 2-3 days ago, where she moves onto the desk so that I'm forced to pet her. She's finally learned. I think most cats learn this like earlier on. Oh, I get more attention if I stand right in front of the keyboard. Look at how happy she is. Looking right at the camera, huh, cat? Huh? Look at cat. So this is apparently changing the focus, but it keeps saying -1 here. Maybe we try this on Windows? Can I sneak my hand under here, cat? Okay. Yes. Yes, where are the pets? All right, so get window list. Let's try that. Window list, display server dot get window list. What does this return? Oh, just ints? That's it? List of window IDs belonging to this process. Native dialogues are not included in the list. Okay, well, let's still just start with this, I suppose. Cats just walked away. Okay, so it's printing nothing helpful. What do we have to do? I don't know how we do this. Can I do 2-string on that? I assume it's already doing 2-string on this, or else how would it print anything? Yeah, that's probably pointless what I just tested. I'll just iterate over them and print them out. I just want to see if I can save myself some time. I can't. Okay, well, then fine. So for each. There we go. And I don't care about the pop-up thing. I just want the window ID. There. And then put that over here too. And I wonder if we can tell if it's a pop-up, because that would be nice. But one step at a time. So it's saying that we are losing and gaining focus, but there's only one window ID. What happens if we open a pop-up? It still doesn't think there's another window. And opening the pop-up does call focus exited. What does this mean? How are you supposed to detect this? Detect pop-up? Are we embedding these? Can you check the project settings? Embed subwindows. If true, subwindows are embedded in the main window. This is also called single window mode. Single window mode can be faster as it does not need to create a separate window for every pop-up in tooltip, which can be a slow operation. So yes, we are. But how do we detect that then? And why? Is there a problem with this? Embedded window input? None of this applies. You should be getting these. Yeah, I can only select this by pressing enter, not by using the mouse. Well, the fake mouse. Unless I misread those first two bullet points from earlier. Why am I not getting events then? I wonder. Because here in unhandled input, I have cursor click. Maybe it's not unhandled. Maybe the pop-up handles everything. Can we look at the code for menu pop-up? Menu pop-up unhandled. Yeah, nothing shows up there. Let's try looking through the code itself. But it's called pop-up menu? What? Why does it say menu pop-up? It says menu button. I don't know what I'm talking about. What's actually happening? All right, menu button. So here's their header file. This must handle, yeah, pop-up menu. Good. Okay, so let's go take a look at pop-up menu. How do you interpret the second bullet point? If an embedded window is focused, the event is sent to that window and processed in the Windows viewport and afterward treated as handled. So it sounds to me like there's a different input stack handling this. So maybe the display server has a way of getting embedded windows. Embed. No, there's nothing here. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to reconcile this. I don't even know how to check to see. Let's open this up. Input from window internal. Input from window. All right, I want to find this symbol. Should be a here. And we don't do any like unhandled input sort of thing. If get flag pop up and you press this, then close it. Otherwise, do input from window. So it's handling UI cancel. Also kind of interesting that they just hard code the string there. Hey, Leap Year Girl, how you doing? It does seem like we need to get a hold of that window. Yeah, it does. I don't know how. Maybe I should tackle easier stuff first. Because, yeah, we don't see anything here. If I put a breakpoint there and I tried clicking this, it doesn't get hit. If I do it over here, it doesn't get hit. So, like, it's not getting our input. I think that's definitely the case. Now, why, I don't know exactly. Detect embedded window. And Disabling this breaks manual input, push input, get viewport. Can we get something in the current viewport then? No, this wouldn't be sufficient to do this. Man, I don't know. We do know that we're losing focus. We just can't find where the focus goes. What is this? Get embedded sub windows? That's in the viewport? Okay, I thought that was going to be pointless. All right, so get embedded sub windows. Here we go. This gives us an array of windows. So when we lose focus, we're going to go through everything in here. Window in there. And then I don't know what we print out when we do this, but let's try that. And let's try the opposite over here. Story of my life. Hey, is your day recovered from the Discord message you sent a day or two ago, Leapy Girl? All right, what are we looking at over here now? Aha, look, pop-up menu. We found it. Hi, cat. Hi. You want to celebrate? High five? Just know what I'm doing. Hey, Rima. Ooh. You want to start purring? I feel so bad. This cat does not understand what are like. We have mouse toys that we give her, and she just does not let go of these things. Take care, Blue Blue. Best of luck with the marketing and releasing the new version tonight. She doesn't ever let go of these, and various techniques have worked over the months, but they stop working. So like at first I just put something on her head, like, I don't know, a sheet of paper or something like that, and she got confused and she dropped the toy. And then she's like, oh, I'm not gonna fall for this. So now you can't put something on her head. So now I'm like, okay, well then I will. What else have I done? I tilt the box that she's in or something like that, and then she gets a little spooked and she dropped. Well, all of this stuff has just completely immunized her to this stuff. So the other night she caught the toy, and I'm like, you know what, fine, whatever, just have it. Well, she ate the entire thing, and then she like puked up the fake. I don't actually think it's fake fur, but the fur on the toy. And I was like, okay, I can't leave it with you. I can't take it from you. So then I started playing with a different kind of toy with her, and she just doesn't care. So I'm glad she's still all lovey-dovey right now, but the mental health. I think you said something about bad mood swings the other day. Sorry, I didn't want to explicitly use the same wording. So I think instantiating a new cursor in that Windows root should be enough. Or reparenting this instance. Yeah, I think just making a new one's probably good. Oh, you okay, Ketsu? Oh, except for it's going to have the exact same parameters that you have from the first one. So yeah, maybe reparenting is best. Okay, hold on, cat. Hold on. Let me shuffle around. Okay. You're good. Yeah, we might need to reparent. Parent so that we have the same settings you would have configured. We just need a way of generating that thing. All right, so how do we do this? So focus exited. These are embedded sub windows. How do I want to do this? Pop-up equals null. If window is pop-up menu, pop-up equals window. And then here, if pop-up is not null, then do reparent to the pop-up. Do a meeting with the manager of the language class, talking about my interest. I told them I can't do the full time. Yeah. Yeah. I look forward to hearing how that goes. What a good cat. Okay, Abby, you ready? This is going to work. Oh. It's doing that thing again. The cursor is now stuck at the upper left of the screen. Yeah, I have to move the mouse physically to get it out of there. Why is that happening? So now is it back to normal? No, because I never unparent it or never reparent it again. Why is that happening? It's got to be that this is getting called and setting this to 0 the whole time. Yeah, it's got to be that. Print warping mouse to there. Why would that happen though? Get position. What are we doing? We're getting the mouse position. Yeah. Maybe the mouse position doesn't work in that window. Okay, so now I just got to do this. Yeah, look at that. It says warping mouse to negative 8,000. What? Is that even... It can't be 8,000 all the way over to here. It says it's... Yeah, wow. That actually would be kind of close to 8,000. It says 3994, and if we multiply that by 2. But that's not... Oh, maybe it's trying to put it off the screen and my OS is stopping it from going off the screen. Oh, what I don't understand though is why wouldn't it do it based on the current viewport? Maybe embedded windows have something strange about them. Can we tell if this is embedded? Maybe check if get viewport there gets the pop-up or the main one. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. But what I'm thinking of is there some way to tell if this is embedded? I guess we could. Yeah, and I guess we don't really need to. We could just keep track of a Boolean here. Private bool is embedded. All right, so here we set it to true. And then if that's true, we do something. I don't know what. Is your current assumption that it will return the sub-window viewport? Yes, although there should only be one viewport, right? I guess my current assumption is that something is incorrect with the positioning and it's not obvious how to get the correct one. But I'm guessing this needs to change somehow. Each window gets its own viewport. Yeah, so let's find out if we can learn anything from this. So I click this and then move. And now we're in this breakpoint. It'd be nice if the window resized. It's probably going to do this all at once. Yeah, there it goes. All right, so get viewport. What do you tell us? Oh, it's a pop-up menu. Wow, that was easy. So now what's the mouse position? Negative 190, negative 293? That might actually be correct based on wherever the mouse was at the time. And then I multiply it by getTree.root.content scale factor. And you become times 2 for both of those things, which this never likes to do vector math correctly. Why would this be wrong? Because it's going to try to position it on my screen. Oh, God. All right. I see. Yeah. Something's got to be offset. I didn't even know you could position a viewport. There is no position, at least. Drat. Okay, Godot viewport. There is no position. There's a window, though. Windows have position. Can we do get tree.root? That should be a window. Yeah, dot position. Aha. It's this. Okay, so I think we have to add this to this, but only when it's embedded. Maybe, because it's working otherwise. Although I probably should test that. All right, here we go. Can I have my hand back, cat? She's like licking my forearm right now. All right, here we go. Here we go. It disappeared. Can't see anything now. All right, so what does it think this is? 5980. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have added this. Or maybe oh man, there's a lot of stuff I probably should have done differently. Okie dokie. So let's take a look at this. I think we need to divide this by the content scale factor. This is me just kind of guessing things, which is probably stupid, but that would make some amount of sense. Why can't you do this? Vector 2i. Oh, great. I don't know what we're going to do about that then. I guess we could just turn this to a vector 2. I don't think you can do that, so let's do it this way. Is that a valid? No, that's not. There's no way to take a vector 2i and get a vector 2 out of this. I know I can just make a new one and put the components in. What's that? Converts a vector 2 to a vector 2i. I want the other way around. So I'd probably look in this for this. It doesn't exist. We have an extension for that. Vector 2 extensions, 2 tile chords. I'll just make a thing right here. Vector 2i window position. And then we'll just make a new vector 2 out of this. And rerun this. There was an implicit conversion? Yeah, I think I missed that. I'll have to take a look. I don't even know if what I'm doing is correct, so I'll clean up the code if we find out that it is correct, which I hope we do find out is correct. But all right, what are we looking at now? So mouse position is now 2692, 304. What was it before all this? Like, if I don't do any of this stuff, if I just print this out and then restart this, and I'm trying to figure out where should this be according to the operating system. So if I just move the mouse now, it should break in, and whatever this is correct. So it's 1940, 1176. 1940, 1176 is roughly where the mouse should be when not in the pop-up. And it refers to the, like the 1 minute button. So 1940, 1146, and then we try it again like this. And what does it think it is? Something nowhere near there. Maybe, no man, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. And then window position. Is that correct? I have two 1920 by 1080 displays. It's in a content scale factor of 2. And I am 1.5 screens in. Yeah, that's pretty close. So I understand how it got this position. This is where the pop-up is in terms of... Yeah, this is where the pop-up is. So what am I trying to do? And I need it to be this. This is 1.5 screens in. My screen is 1920 pixels wide, and the scale factor is 2. I don't care about the first screen. I want to reject the first screen. That's why we're supposed to use the window position. I just don't know how yet. Oh, man. I think we need to get like the game windows position Yeah. Okay, I think that's what we have to do. So I think I have to do window position divided by 2 plus the mouse position and then add the overall window position to that or something. Yeah, there's got to be a difference between the windows. I don't know how to get that parent window. How do we... There's no position in there. We could keep track of it ahead of time maybe, but then if it changes, we wouldn't know. Get viewport dot get parent. Is that a thing? A menu button? Oh, and then we can get the viewport of that. Well, and then the position of that, and then it breaks. Yeah, because I'm doing something wrong. I need the tree. So get tree dot root dot position. Aha! It's the exact same as window position though. That can't be right. Yeah, that definitely can't be right. The menu button has the same tree? No. This is all wrong. Ah, man. Well, maybe it is the same scene tree. Let's go take a look. Get tree. Yeah, just get tree. Yeah, they're the same. They're in the same tree. I thought this wasn't the case. And this is so difficult to understand. Are the root windows? Yeah, the root windows have to be the same too then. Just returns the root. Yeah, but I expected these to have different roots. Somewhere there's a different... Man, I don't understand this. If the viewport is embedding windows, the viewport tries to interpret... Okay, so there's one viewport, which we just saw. Tries to interpret the event and its capability as a window manager. And its capability as a window manager. So how do we tell that it's managing windows? Shouldn't we have 2 windows? Don't we have a way to do that? Get viewport dot get windows? Does not contain a thing for that. Where's viewport? Do I even have that open? Viewport. Window. Get embedded sub windows. That's all we have for this? But there's only one of those. No, there's 0 of those. How is this possible? What am I doing? I don't know how this is true. We know that we're embedded in a pop-up right now, and yet we see 0 windows. I just want to make sure this isn't some like weird... No, it's not. Because you're in the pop-up Windows viewport. But it's the same viewport. If I do get viewport here... Oh, no, never mind. So there are 2 viewports. Okay. I gotta rewind. When embedding Windows, get viewport from the embedded window returns the pop-up menu. So I can get the pop-up menu. Doesn't that mean I can get the position of that thing? If we know it's a pop-up menu? I guess we have to cast it to a pop-up menu. I don't even know what a pop-up menu is. Oh, what? Look at that. We got a number I haven't seen before. Well. Oh, what do we do now? All right, so what are we looking at here? Let's just look at the numbers. You do this divided by 2 plus... What is window position? I don't think that's helpful. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And then we just subtract 936 divided by 2. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I think those are the numbers we need. Does that work for the other component? 688 divided by 2 minus 596 divided by 2? There's no way, right? That's 46. No, something's wrong there. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm just trying to get these numbers to make sense. Oh, I guess when we multiply by 2, then it starts to make sense. Maybe that's all we have to do is multiply by 2. Oh my god, maybe that is all we have to do. Oh my god. Okay, so wait. So we get this, and then we multiply that by content scale factor, and then we set the mouse position. Well, if we set the mouse position to that, it's just going to set it to where that window is. I need to also somehow use the viewport's mouse position, which this one has a different viewport. So can't we just do that? Get mouse position. Did you look at input event mouse.global position? I don't have an input event right here, but we could do get global mouse position here. No, we can't. Can we do it on the get viewport? Can we do it on the pop-up menu? Is it not even called get global mouse position? No, it is. When you're setting the mouse position, you may be doing the wrong viewport. I don't think we can control what viewport this is in. It's just an input. I think there's only one input. Unless we can access that on a viewport. Get viewport.input. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think we can do that. But I'm not positive. I think we still... Oh, man. I gotta figure this out. There's a viewport warp mouse? Huh. Interesting. I would expect that it's probably just literally the same thing as the warp mouse that's over here for when you don't have a node, maybe. But I need to look at their source code to tell if that's true. We got to somehow get the mouse position. Console just about any project. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is not great. But I think we're maybe close, and I'm just trying to figure this out. So this is the closest I've come so far, maybe plus this. Although aren't these numbers huge? What is this? This is gigantic, isn't it? No. It is gigantic. It's not gigantic. So then maybe it is this. This plus this. I just need to get this to work. Can't be applied to a vector 2i. Well, we're going to make a vector 2 out of that. Window pause as vec2. Take this. Then put this down here. Then do this. Then what are we missing? What am I missing? Yeah, that can go away. Times cannot be applied to vector 2i and float. It's not a vector 2i anymore. Is this just stale? Oh my god, there's a semicolon missing there? Okay, my bad. I didn't see that. It's really hard to notice missing semicolons when the AI detects it and then puts in a fake one. I feel like I'm playing a bad mini game. All right, I typed in a bunch of nonsense. Let's see if this nonsense works. No, the cursor is who knows where. Oh, wait, but clicking did something. I lost the mouse. Yeah, let's try that again. Clicking closed it, which means it's at least getting input in the new window or viewport or whatever. So yeah, what we got to figure out is when I move the mouse over here, so I just click that and then do one of these. So now we get a mouse position. This is 10,000 and it's supposed to be 2,000. All right, what is this? I'm still pretty much convinced that what I have to do is get the position of this. This is X, let's say. So let's call that X. And let's, ow, your claws are so sharp. And let's call the window position up here Y. And I need to do X minus Y plus something. I can get X. I can't figure out how to get Y. I'm not even totally sure I needed to do this. Could we? Yeah, sure, very cute. We need the old window position. I don't know how to do that. Get tree dot root. What is this? This is a window, and this has a position. But that's the same as the position I'm getting for this. Wait, yeah, because of course it is. That's what I'm doing up there. So, I'm very turned around. Does mention the coordinate system of the viewport, so I think using that, you may not need to do any math, just offset the mouse position. Oh, so you're saying just change this to get viewport dot warp mouse, and then don't do anything here. She's licking my fingers as I'm typing. What a good cat. Hi, yeah. Welcome back to my lab. Oh, the mouse is going nuts now. Well, that means I messed something else up, because at this point it shouldn't be going crazy. Oh, I'm using, oh, whoops, I see. Diff needs to take into account content scale factor or something. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so let's put the mouse here and then press any key. There. All right, so what does it think the mouse position is? Okay, that's pretty reasonable. And diff is what? Like crazy? No, that's also pretty reasonable. What's going on then? Moves the mouse pointer to the specified position using the coordinate system of this viewport. So let's get rid of the breakpoint. Yeah, I moved it very slightly. Oh, it's just moving super fast for some reason. Where is it? Here. Okay, so if I press right, okay, it shot off the screen. I press right over here. Also shot off the screen. If I do it over there. This is very, very, very annoying. Speed times acceleration. The way it's moving is like it's scaling itself too much. Moves the mouse pointer to the specified position using the coordinate system of the viewport. I wonder if we just put this on my other monitor, would this still happen? It definitely still happens. Yeah, what's weird is, okay, I think I'm pressing right. Let me try this. Yeah, I'm definitely pressing right, and it's moving down. Which means maybe I shouldn't be doing this? Yeah. And that's what Kevin's saying too. Because this would suggest that I'm doubling the coordinates every single time, which is why I would be flying off the screen. Okay, so can we, yeah, okay, good. We're back to being able to move this. Great. Now I'm going to click this. We're going to start sweating. Okay, just ignore the breakpoint. We're not doing anything special. We can't click this anymore now. Probably because I don't revert out of the pop-up and I accidentally clicked outside of the pop-up, I think. So that doesn't really count. But this one will. Did it work? I don't think so. It closed the whole menu. Oh no. Okay, well let's revert out of this pop-up. How about that? So here, We check, and if pop-up window is null, then we reparent this to, I don't even know what, get tree.root, and then set this to false. This should allow me to open and close this thing, even though it's going to be wrong once it's open. I go over to here, I click, and now I can still click outside of here. Yeah, nice. No, this is wrong. I can't hover over the buttons anymore. That's strange. This is all just to automatically close a small window when you click outside it? No, this is to let a controller user pick something from this window. So like, let's say you open up the game and the game is in the wrong language. You should be able to change the language. But if you only have a controller, you can't do that right now. Well, actually, you can do that. You just had to press enter. You can't use the mouse to do that. And now even that's not working for some reason. Oh, man, I don't know what's going on. Maybe we should just ignore this. What do we do? I don't know if this reparent call is correct. And if I don't ever reparent in the first place, then I think everything's okay. And I can just play the game normally. Right? Hovering works? No, hovering doesn't work. Wait, why? Why wouldn't it work? What happened here? Okay, so if I have the old input.warp mouse here, and I have this old thing too, did this ever work? I think the event motion is wrong. Oh man, yeah, it's definitely wrong because it needs the diff to include the, I don't know what I'm talking about. Never mind. But yeah, now we can see the hover effect is working and it's making a sound when I hover over this. So the problem is that this position definitely needs to incorporate the content scale factor. But then I can use this and this. Yeah. So now hovering should work again. Yes. But then this won't. Yeah. It doesn't know where the cursor is supposed to be. I can move it at least. I guess that's decent. But then yeah, it just closes the whole menu. How do you even do that? Oh, I guess you just click outside. So it thinks I'm clicking outside then. But it's moving the cursor in the right way. It's just that the click doesn't know. Okie dokie. Well, that's because we never changed the click code, right? Yep. All right. Well, how do we fix that? If it's embedded, we just cut this out by 2. That seems weird. Position divided by equal scale factor. That'd be very weird, wouldn't it? Maybe is this not scaled? Hold on. I'm very curious about this. So look at the general size of that. Does that get larger if you zoom in? Yes. Okay. Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, if it's not scaled, then that would make sense why you don't need to take scale into account. But maybe you don't need to take it into account for some other reason. And maybe I shouldn't even be testing with content scale factor on, so I don't have one other layer of difficulty to get through. Because a bunch of multiplied by 1s would make this an identity. All right, so let's try again. No, it's still broken. All right, where does it think we're clicking? How about we start with that? Because I bet this is all wrong. All right, sure. Come on, I don't care about this. There. Okay, so it thinks we're clicking at 3924. And relative to the pop-up, we are. So maybe we need to add in the window here? Okay. That's my guess. And we have the window position here. And we could just add that to the mouse position, right? Position plus equal window pause as vec2. Maybe. I wanna just put an empty statement after it so that I can put a breakpoint there. Just to make sure. I'm pretty sure I can put on a closing brace, but I don't want to test this out. They want to do this with local coordinates. Trigger the given event in this viewport. In local coordinates is false. The event's position. Okay, yeah, maybe. Maybe that's a good idea. All right, let's try this. Whoops, I put that in the wrong spot. Wait, no, move your butt. Move your butt, I need the mouse. All right, fine, I don't need the mouse. This is mouse pressed event. I didn't actually press anything, did I? I thought I just moved the mouse. I don't recall. All right, so I'm gonna click here, which is like close to 0, 0. What does it think this is? It now thinks it's 5126 700. And what we need it to be is not that big. I mean, we could just say that this is local, right? There is no local there. Where does that come from? Push input? We're using parse input event though. And I don't think input event even has a local thing on it. No. I'm not sure how I would take that advice. But I think we're doing something close to what we need to here. There's just still something wrong. Maybe we do this again. And no, there's no reason to do that. It's just an event. It has to use this. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what we're trying to target here. Like, what are the coordinates we want to find? Wait, we could figure that out though, couldn't we? Because we could figure out when you click something in a menu pop-up what the viewport thinks the mouse position is. This thinks it's something tiny though, right? I don't know where it's getting that from. Did I mess something up? Call that in the viewport. It should have a similar effect, but you can use the viewport coordinates, so no need to account for scale factor. There's just one note in the doc of how this differs to the parse method. It does not remap specified event based on project settings like emulate touch from mouse. Okay, let's try it. Yeah. Get viewport dot push event push input. Yeah, push input. So this is our input. And we pass in true in local chords. The kind of stuff I just never want to touch again. So then we just delete all this. And we're maybe fine. We probably also get rid of this if we do that. Okay, let's try that. So we can test this just by getting to the settings menu. If that alone works, then we know that this is working in the right viewport. I think it did. It's making the sounds. No, wait, that's all from mouse motion, though. That wouldn't tell us anything. Okay, good. It's not hovering over these though. No, none of these are working. It should hover over them, right? Yeah, it should. Can I move the mouse anywhere to make it think that I'm hovering over it? Like anywhere on the screen? Oh, whoa, what? Here? Oh, this is so messed up. This is super messed up. Yeah, when I hover down below where the camera is, you can kind of see the cursor down there. It thinks I'm hovering over like this. It says the quick move menu, blah, blah, blah. That's up here. So it thinks this is down here somewhere. Where did I find that? Oh, no, it's only when you use the virtual one. So it's offset by some amount. I don't even know what that is. Maybe that's the distance from here to here divided by 2. But it'd be, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Or maybe we expanded it by 2. Okay, well, let me push this before I forget. That made a new branch, right? Yeah. Okay. What am I'm very lost. I'm very, very lost. If push input, let me read the documentation for this again. Triggers the given input in this viewport. This can be used to pass an input event between viewports or to locally apply inputs that were sent over the network or saved to a file. If in local coords is false, the event's position is in the embedder's coordinates and will be converted to viewport coordinates. If it's true, it's in viewport coordinates. I mean, maybe content scale factor affects the viewport. I'm gonna set that scale factor to 1. This is such a waste of time to keep testing all this stuff out. Like I should get it working when it's set to 1, and then no, this is broken. So I'm guessing I need to click somewhere halfway. Yep. Okay, so now it thinks the settings button is here. Yeah, right there. Because that's the halfway point on this diagonal from here to here to here or something like that. I guess we could just draw the diagonal. And then just cut that in half, which would put it like roughly there. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. But is that what we found out? I can't find it anymore. Oh, oops, that was bone one. So it's below that. What's going on? It's not highlighting anything now. What? Oh, because you got to click. There it is. No, that was Discord. So now it's to the left of that. Got it. Okay, yes, it's right there. So I think that's pretty close to what I was selecting. Maybe I can even go higher up. Yeah. Yeah. So that hunch is correct. I mean, it makes sense. That's how that'd be working. That's how I broke that. So we know this is working up until we get to the viewport, or sorry, up until we get to the pop-up, and then it's broken for the pop-up. And I can't think of anything else we would have to do for this. But once we're in this state, we've seen that hovering over this stuff is in the wrong place entirely. Like it's sending motion events to the wrong viewport. How is that happening? It would imply that we're in the wrong place entirely. Warping mouse. Okay, I don't care about the warping mouse part. Let's get rid of that. What I do care about is the focus exiting and entering. This is focus entered. And if there's no pop-up anymore, then we want to reparent this. Okay, let's just print some things out. Reparented to pop-up. And down here we say reparented to main window. Some nightmarish puzzle games based on applying offsets between a pointer view and its click location. Oh man. Nightmarish is correct. All right, so right now we're in like normal mode, right? It says reparented to main window. Okay, well, let's click this. Reparented to pop-up. We close this. Reparented to main window. Okay, so that stuff looks like it's working fine. So then why, when it's reparented to the pop-up, can you hover over random things over there? I don't understand anything. Okay, well, the mouse is at like this blade of grass and it's talking about the language menu, which is up here. It's not even that. It's a language label. So when I move the mouse down to that blade of grass, lets you select the game language. Yeah. So it's a difference between this up to here. What is special about this size? 432 by 595. Alternatively multiplied by 2. Maybe need to add one extra mouse move event to navigate position from main window. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just floundering right now. How would language get down there, though? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I think that's the difference between... So this is 595 pixels. Is that the difference between this and this? It is. Yeah. Yeah. I still don't know what to do with this information. Because if this is all on local coordinates and we're accessing something on the viewport anyway, then yeah, shouldn't this just work? There's no other get mouse position kind of thing, is there? Give viewport dot mouse. No. Can we check the mouse motion event calculation? In the position here, I had to multiply. Yeah, it's possible that I have to do the same thing here, but I don't use the position for anything else. So I guess it can't be that because we tried that and then everything is off by a scale of 2. Anyway, going back up to this. So the only special thing we do is just the mouse position times the content scale factor. And the mouse position is just the mouse position. But right now the mouse motion is wrong. Oh, and when we're in a sub window? Yeah, but we use parse input event. We should probably use give viewport dot push input and do that and get rid of this and get rid of this. Like sorry, the cat's in the way. Like when I asked about why you need event when you warp the mouse, warp works for click, event needs mouse movement. I think I'm hitting my limit in terms of what I can even understand. Like I should probably be taking a break pretty soon. All right, so can we hover over this other stuff now? We can't hover over anything now. Now we're in a pop-up at least. And clicking doesn't do anything anywhere. I don't know what I'm doing. Right now, the mouse motion is wrong. So can I back out of this? Yeah, I can back out of this. Mouse motion is correct, though. We can see when I hover over this stuff, it's working. So this is all fine. Like I can hover over language. I think I think she wants a little of both right now. I think she is hungry. Are you? Hi. This cat is so funny. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Well, I guess you know what I said I would do and I never did. I could set this down to 1 and we could try that. Maybe that'll be easier. No. Yeah, as soon as I open this now, nothing works. Although I guess nothing with clicking worked before. Except for I could click outside of this thing, couldn't I? Only wrong in the embedded one because we don't see hover events there in the pop-up otherwise. Yeah. I don't know what we're doing. So yeah, once we're in a pop-up, everything's just wrong. All right, well, let's say we wanted to work around this. I guess what we could do is once we detect that a pop-up is open, we could just have, we could like remap your keys on the fly and make it so that your mouse click is actually confirm. That wouldn't necessarily do what you expected to do though. What time is it that the cat's going nuts? It's still like an hour in advance of her feeding time. Yeah, I don't think I can make any more progress on this right now. Let's try to salvage whatever we can from this. And then I want to take a look at an easier problem. So what do we learn from this? I mean, some of this stuff was decently helpful. Maybe I should just save the whole file. Yeah, I should just save the whole file. In fact, let me save it as a gist on GitHub. Create new gist. Virtual cursor.cs. Non-working code for the virtual cursor that at least detects the pop-up window correctly. I'll just create this publicly. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, actually, we should save that. Let's put that here. I couldn't figure this out. The code in the gist works totally fine until you open a pop-up. Oh, you know what? Okay, I had an idea. What if we never reparented? What if we just deleted all this code? If this works, this is true inspiration. Oh my god. Okay, you can't click, but you can hover now. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. How do we fix this? So why won't this work? Oh man. Hey Pretzel. Be goat meal. I like it. So you saying click to the other viewport? Well, I don't know. You're saying just don't do local coordinates here? I don't. Does that default to false? Yeah, it defaults to false. I actually don't understand this part of it. I would expect it both to work. Can I? I'd love to expand this a little bit because I find this hard to see. No, I can't click here. I can't click outside of here either, but the hover, like it knows where I am. The tooltips are all correct. Can I open this? No. Yeah, so what am I doing wrong now? Because this should be the easy part. When do you feed your cat, Raimu? Yeah, this should be the easy part. Why would this part not work? So where's the game thinking you're clicking? I don't know. And hey, Empire, what's the name of your theme for VS Code? It is Atom 1 Dark. Vivid. I always forget the vivid part. Oh, I don't know how this part of all things could be. Maybe we do this? Oh, man. I don't think this makes any sense. And I think if we do this, we need to multiply by content scale factor. This is me just taking random shots in the dark. I don't know if this should work. I am just testing a random thing because if it does work, then I'll come up with an explanation for why it works. No. And I can't click anywhere though to do something here. That's the weird part. Like clicking outside of this should close the menu, but none of I'm just clicking everywhere and it's not doing anything. But if I click with the mouse, it does close that. Let's try expanding this and just see, does that help somehow? Can I still click these things? Yes. And hovering works still. Okay. On a regular schedule with auto feeder, but is overweight, so I've had to cut back a little. She definitely doesn't appreciate the diet, yeah. I meant to do local, but call, give viewport, get embedded. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so we need to detect that we're in that case. And do it on a different viewport. Viewport v equals get viewport. And if v.getEmbeddedWindows.count is greater than 0, this is kind of a hack for right now. Then we set v equal to the, wait a second, there's only, hang on, I wrote this down because I knew I'd forget it. Yeah, get viewport does change. Okay. So we just get the embedded window and that's it. And then use v down here. Okay, let's try this. No. No, why won't it work? Maybe there's an error. No. Is this correct even? It's not detecting. Oh, right. Of course it's not detecting anything. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, I'm so close. I'm so close to figuring this out. So we need to do the reparenting or else none of this input's going to make it there. So this needs to be there. And I should probably write this. This is here so that the input actually makes it to the pop-up menu when it's open. Maybe what we could do is add a new virtual cursor instead of using the existing one. Then we'd had 2 though, wouldn't we? And then both would be trying to move the mouse. Yeah, that's probably a bad idea. What about a second node that sends the input back from the pop-up to the main? So you're saying just add like a proxying input handler? Yeah, that might work. Will you calm down, cat? Seriously, this happens every day, twice a day, where she's like, I'm dying, Adam. I need food. I feed her, I give her treats. Doesn't matter. Viewport business is tricky, yeah. Could maybe proxy the inputs back to the, yeah, the main window. Good time to leave because my brain hurts from trying to understand. Oh, it hurts too over here. But thank you for the good luck. And take your care, leap year girl. Oh man. Okay, so we reparent to the pop-up. And then now we've broken everything, I guess. Let me take a look at what's going on. Because this probably isn't... In fact, maybe this should be the main viewport now? I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe let's just get the main viewport. private viewport starting viewport. And in here, we just set this starting viewport equals get viewport. And then out of curiosity over here, what if we just always use the starting viewport? And this too, I guess. Oh, wait, did I mess this up? No, I never got the mouse pressed event. Yeah. All right, so viewport v equals get starting viewport. Then use v and set this to v. All right, this makes no sense. So I don't know why this would work. Oh my God, that worked. What? Okay. The hover's not working. Clicking outside is working. Need to push mouse move event when reparenting with negative pop-up X, negative pop-up Y for hover to work now. Oh, can I just do this on the starting viewport no matter what? I don't know what I'm doing. That made no sense to me. Is this working now? No, the hover's still not working. But clicking is working. Also, some weird stuff is happening when I enter this menu. Wow, that might have been a different problem. Okay, so I just can't get this to work when we're inside the pop-up. Because I'm getting the mouse position in the wrong viewport, right? Viewport V equals starting. And then change this to V. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, now I think everything should work. No, it's very much not working. It's pushing the, yeah, it's pushing the cursor off screen. Maybe this should also be V. Yeah, probably. This is the most delicate thing. Okay, everything's working. This is like 2 hours of me slamming my head up against the wall. I mean, with help from chat, so thank you, chat, especially Kevin. But, oh man. Okay, but my concern is this. What if we now move the window? Does this still work? Yeah, it does. Man, I've done some crazy things to try to figure out bugs. And this was a lot of flailing around. Yeah, so that is the conclusion here. Conclusion after hours of struggling. We need to keep around the main viewport to send all of the events to, including warping the mouse. But we need to reparent the node in order to even get the events once a pop-up is in play. Resize it too. Well, that did resize it because that now it's only taking up half the screen. But yeah, we could try it. We can do something like this. Now move this over to here and change that. Wait, shouldn't that have changed all this to Spanish? Why didn't that happen? That's concerning. Yeah, that's very concerning. Do any of these work? No. Am I testing something? Could you check if disabling embed sub windows? Yeah, I'll try that in a sec. Let me find out why this isn't translating anything. Now I'm expecting the game to be in German when I open it. It's not in German. Uh-oh. What's going on? That's not good. When did I break this? Oh, that's really not good. I broke changing the game language somehow. Okay, so is the wrong place getting the translation notification now? I don't think it would. I don't think it should be because of whatever code I just wrote here. Main notification. Translation changed. I mean, we could put a breakpoint here. Change this to Spanish. Yeah, it's getting hit still. And we don't do anything with this notification, but Godot should. Maybe I'm not using the right files. What do we have here in localization? No, this is all fine. Better to use canvas instead of screen coordinates. I mean, everything's working. I think everything's fine. I think the thing we're going to try to do is what Kevin just suggested, change embedded windows. So we're going to turn this off and see what happens. This is a just for science kind of thing. Okay, so now we're in the new thing. And now when we open a pop-up, it's going to be... No, this is super broken. This definitely doesn't work. So this only works when we use embedded sub windows. I'm not going to try to figure that out. But let's undo a bunch of things. So let's go back to this project settings, set this back to embed. Great, save and run. So everything was working there. So now we can click this. We can click other stuff over here. Tooltips are showing up at the upper left as soon as you open this, but that was probably happening anyway. Wait, why isn't it happening now? It's only the very first time you open this menu? Does that happen with mouse? That's strange. Let me try that again. It's like if I hover over one of these things, it flickers at the upper left for a little bit. Yeah. And then same thing. No, not the same thing there. But then I open the game settings and the same thing happens. And then it's done. So does this happen with mouse? If it happens with mouse, I don't care. It's a tiny bug. It doesn't matter. It flickers in the wrong spot for a frame. It does not happen with mouse. Oh. This is not good. Do we keep track of a position here? Mouse entered, mouse exited. This stuff should still be working fine. We are moving the mouse. Huh. Huh, indeed. What would cause that to happen? And it consistently happens that way. I just move the mouse from here down to here. Well, on the first time at least. And then same thing over here. I move it up. But it doesn't happen when you use this. And all it's doing is mouse movement. I'm not clicking at all. I'm doing it kind of slowly. I don't think the speed should probably matter. No. But it only happens the very first time though. After you've done it once and it shows up in the wrong spot, it shows up in the right spot every time thereafter. It's a strange bug. Only if you move via the controller. Tooltips will show up, will flicker at the upper left on the title screen and in the settings menu, but only for the first time that you hover over something in either location. Oh, yeah, you might be right. That is because it's coming from process. And that if we deferred this, it probably wouldn't happen. Is there some other way we could do this? I mean, I guess what we could test really fast is we just change this from process to physics process and see if that does anything for us. Let's try that out. We could also try deferring the call. Did that do anything here? That did fix it. Wow, Kevin's on a roll. Oops, gift Kevin. Okay, this was caused by firing an event from process instead of physics process. This goes back to what Dark had suggested earlier about this being tied to frame rate. Although this is not tied to frame rate, this is tied to event ordering in this case. But I didn't realize there was some side effect from that. All right, what was the other thing I was going to try out? Oh yeah, the localization thing. I am actually very curious about this. This should change automatically. And it's not. And I don't know when I broke it. But yeah, when we change this to Spanish, for example, or English or anything, and I hit save, does it even get saved? Where's my save data? Here, S local settings. I don't see a language in here. What? Did I use the wrong parent branch? Locale. Wait, is locale there and I'm just missing it every time? Oh my god, it is. Oh my god. I should stop. Should definitely stop. Okay, so thank you, ABC. Let me look at locale IDs. Let's just search for Spanish. Yeah, here, locale. So I have it set to English, but changing it to Spanish didn't seem to do anything. All right, well, we make a locale data. Set locale is here. Let's do that. Let's change the save file. Save local settings. Change this to be in Spanish. And try running it again. So it's gonna call set locale. It should be Spanish. Yes. So now what's this do? Is it consuming the pop-up menu click event somehow and it's not getting to the game settings menu? No, because even when I do it through the mouse, it's not working. And we're getting set locale here, so it's clearly not working even when you load the game. Oops. Native calls, Godot iCall, yeah. I wonder if I broke string IDs or something. I don't know how that would have happened though. Scenes, ES. Story mode. No, wait, what? Story mode doesn't show in here? Oh, because it's in scripts. Story mode. Maybe it doesn't use fuzzy strings and every single string is fuzzy. What if I delete this? That's not even story mode. This is what I meant. Yeah, let's delete the fuzzy bit. If that's the case, then this is working totally fine. And I just didn't realize that's how this worked. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay, I did not know that. I don't know how I feel about that. But that's important to know. Apparently having a fuzzy string or like Godot just doesn't show fuzzy strings. By the way, the reason why this is broken now is because Kevin had translated some strings to Spanish and then I wiped everything out. So, yeah. Actually, I might not have wiped everything out, but I like marked everything as fuzzy because I couldn't tell the AI strings from the Kevin strings. And I didn't want to spend more time. So yeah, if we want to test this really quickly, we can set this to German. DED. What's the code for German? Yeah, DED. That's weird. Why didn't that show up? Oh, because there's just other stuff that says DED in it. Okay, sure. All right, so we just delete all the fuzzies here. And then we set this to German, which I don't think we can do on the fly now because it's probably built in. Yeah, no, it's built in. So undo and quit and rerun. Okay, so now we change it to German. I think this is only going to affect, yeah. All right, does this make any sense? Anyone who speaks German in chat? Does the dialogue look correct? You don't need to share corrections, just like, yeah, it's good enough. Words are too short. All right, well, anyway, let's cancel this, go back to English. Yeah. Got a lot of German experts in chat. Okay, so if we change it for scenes, like if I did this, and I got rid of the fuzzy ones from here, and then ran this, it would work. I wonder if you can change this on the fly. I should probably test that. I think you can, or else what I did wouldn't have worked, right? French. Neat. The menu got a lot larger. FPS is images per second. So I think in French you'd say IPS probably. Actually, does anyone know that? Do French people use FPS as an acronym just because of American gaming companies? Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. Okay, so let's change this back to English. And then I want to try, what if we make all these fuzzy again, and then we try changing back to French? No, it doesn't do that. Okay, well, whatever, save. Wow, today, right? Quite a day. Quite a day. I am so incredibly amazed at how much work went into just getting this to work with a controller. All right, well, how about this? While we're at it, let's go change this control, the game scale control. Because of game companies, of the FPS thing? Yeah, I was just thinking, if, well, or graphics cards, I guess. If they show FPS anywhere, and if they ever don't translate it, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So this one's going to be a little bit hackier, maybe. We're going to go to game settings menu. And I don't actually know how we do this. Let me turn off the music. All right, so here's the goal. We want to make it so that the controller works for this. And the way I need to do this is to make it so that the camera controls control this. Which I guess we would just put in unhandled input. In fact, actually, this should be dead simple, right? Where's game scale? Get line edit up and down. Oh, wow, look at that. We can just put this right in here. Wow, this is dead simple. Okay, so we do one of these. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Or key event. Key event is action pressed. I want it to be whatever the camera control is, which I don't know what we call those. Input map. Camera. UI camera left, UI camera right. Okay, so UI camera up. And this one would be UI camera down. I've always heard players say FPS. I mean in other languages, just to be clear. Like, would a French person say FPS? Or, I guess FPS. Okay, so can we do this? It looks like we cannot. Why isn't that working? UI camera up or down. Did I not set these to the right controls over here? UI camera up, UI camera down, joypad, button, and axis. Why is there a button that does this? Oh, the D-pad? Does that work? No. Can I press WASD? I can press W and S. Oh, because this is a key event, right? I want a joystick event, whatever that's called. I don't know what that's called. Input event controller joystick joypad button. All right, so we got to figure that thing out. You can make it work. All right, so I want to, yeah, I got to figure this out. Somewhere in key, oh, we don't have key bindings. That's why I couldn't find that, because it's on Kevin's PR. I got to go look at this. I just want an easy win. That's why I'm trying to tackle this right now. Joypad. Yeah, input event joypad button. That's what I want to find. How do I want to do this? Or, yeah, input event is not joypad event. Hey, Eskis. We use FPS. Ah, okay. Because it got translated to image instead of frame, like images per second. Anyway, those are little things that are gonna have to change in the translations. Oh well. I just read free all chickens. Oh, it's free all children. We should free all the chickens though. Link will get after them. Okay, so I want to check to see if you pressed joypad event doesn't have is pressed. It does. Why is this? Oh, use of unassigned variable. Oh man. Is there, can I do that? Man. There's got to be a better, like I want a more convenient way to code this. I know how I can code this. I just want to find if there's a better way of doing this. Could I put a question marks here? I don't think this is going to work the way I wanted to. Yeah, it's not. All right, well, I'll do this a bad way then. Hi. She's like meowing her way all the way over here. Oh man, I don't know. I'm just going to do this in a stupid way for now. Yeah, fine. Yeah. I don't like this. I'm going to change this. But for now, let's just do it this way. There we go. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And then same thing over here. Okay. Now what am I missing? Just this and the letter T up here. Okay. Great. Let's go test that out. So now you should finally be able to control all of the settings. Just took 3 hours. All right, so I click up here and I just press up or down. Okay, it works on the D-pad. It doesn't work on the analog stick. Are those different keys? UI camera up, joypad axis minus, left stick up. Strange. I wonder if it's got to register like exactly all the way at the maximum of the dead zone. Oh, wait, no. It's because this is not a button. Oh my God. This never gets easier, does it? It's motion. All right, well, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. And I'll consolidate that later because we definitely should not need that there. Okay, so now what? Can we select this? Nice. Huh, weird. Holding down isn't working. Oh, it's not. There's no such thing as an echo event for these? Oh, interesting. Yeah, this would technically need to be in process or something. I think that's okay. Although actually, I do wonder if we should check to see what the motion is. Because right now, when I press down, what's actually happening is registering like 5 events, and it's moving it all the way at once. And when I let go, it's registering another few events. So I should just do it when it's at like kind of the maximum. And joypad motion dot axis value. Yeah, -1 to 1. So axis value is greater than 0.8. And then same thing here. Down would be less than -0.8. I don't know. I don't know what that should be. I guess I could just get the absolute value and compare it against 0.8. Although the same problem is going to happen if you... Yeah, now it's not working at all. Why not? Current position on the given axis. Values range from -1 to 1. 0 means it's in its resting position. Maybe this is just backwards. That's why I should use absolute value. And same thing here, math.abs. Nope, that's a negative. Yep. Oh. Well, that's definitely going to be a problem when we press down now, but I just won't press down. That'll show the game. Yeah, so it's kind of double inputting every once in a while because I chose 0.8 and not like 0.9 or something. To be honest, I think it's a little bit weird to try to change this in this way with an analog stick. But the D-pad also works here. In fact, you know what else we could do? We could just make it so that when you press up, it goes from like 1 to 2 to 3. And you can't even access these intermediate ones. Anyway, it's working. Okay, so all of these controls now work. And you can even press A to get to save. No, you can't. Okay, well, let's write that down. Yeah, so the next thing we need to do is allow pressing A or B to close the settings, saving or canceling. How does that work? Oh, it's undo. Ooh, actually, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Got to put in the repeat on hold. Yeah, yeah. And to be fair, while that would be nice to do, and I'd like to do that, I think at least this is usable. So you can still use the D-pad and change this. It'd be a shame if it were not usable. In fact, it's actually less usable with mouse because as you click these things, the buttons move. Yeah. But even on mouse, I think I made it so that, no, never mind. I just made it so up and down will work. Well, was that a problem there where I just clicked this and it didn't do anything? No, it seems fine. So what would you expect to have happen on this screen? If you press the confirm button, which on a Nintendo controller would be A, would you expect it to go to save settings? Because I think I would. You can press B to cancel out of this. No, B closes it. It's not cancel. I can cat. Yeah, I'd probably make A save the settings. Okay, yeah, just make A save the settings. Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Allow pressing A to save the settings. B already works. Hey, Liquidor. How you enjoying player housing? Are you enjoying large hadron colliders? I can. Yes, meow. Okay. Man, this is quite the struggle. The entire day was a struggle. There's so many gotchas. At least for me. All right, so we want to apply that same thing to everywhere in the game. I'm not going to do this now, but some of these UIs are not set up to have a confirm button, I think. And some could be a little bit easier to use. Like, this is fine. It's not great. I guess scrolling is always kind of annoying, huh? How can you use this well enough? Yeah, you can. Oh, and even the camera keys work here. Oh, right, zooming doesn't work. I don't have anything set for that. No housing for you yet. I haven't really played console games since PS1, but I was thinking if you choose to play a game with a controller, wouldn't you want to show button keybind hints for the in-game buttons? Yeah. That's on a different branch right now. When you say press A, is that when some focuses on the save button? No, just anywhere in the dialogue. All right, so starting a battle, we got to handle. Yeah, a lot of this stuff should be pretty straightforward. Like debug speed won't exist. Man, honestly, none of this is too bad. Like you can press A on this dialogue. And it's actually pretty easy to build. I don't have enough money anymore. Yeah. Hey, Fairmont, welcome in. Do you want to see an entire day's worth of progress? I've done so little today just because of how hard this stuff was. We got controller support working for a virtual cursor. So you can now access menus. You can change the game scale. You can play the whole game. I mean, it's not bad. So like if I want to move items around, I could use the quick move menu. Okay, you can see it's a little bit touchy. Oh, actually I can't move this. Oh, right, I see. There we go. How do I drop this now? Oh, there's no right click. Okay, so you can't drop items. Hey, Caldario. But yeah, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. I gotta write that down. Town, you can't drop items right now. I imagine that pressing escape should work. Also, picking up that one item was a little bit hard. How do I test that out? Let's add in a whole bunch of items. Let's try dragging this one. Yeah, weird. That's not working. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's dragging the camera instead. Oh, this is going to be a mess, isn't it? And this was working earlier. I think no, wait, maybe it wasn't working earlier. No, it might not have been. Oh, man. Nothing simple. All right, well, this is what we're going to spend a lot of next week on. You can't drag items in one movement right now. I forgot how I did this, but there's something going on. Oh, I don't remember what that thing is even called. There was something that would proxy like a right click somewhere else. Where is that? There it is. Town sub viewport container. This exists because I couldn't figure out how to handle right-clicking in the background without stopping the propagation of events to the sub viewport. See this issue? Is this issue fixed? No. This is an issue I filed. Huh. Do you have to pick up first, then move? Well, so when you're using the mouse, you can just click and drag and then drop it somewhere. When you're using the controller, you can't do that. And I don't know why, but we haven't really worked on this, so that's probably... Made a small game in 4 hours as a little event or challenge. Made a clone of Sokoban. Not really knowing what Sokoban was other than block push puzzle game. Oh, neat. That's a good test of your engine. That's a very short time horizon for satisfaction. I think you need to make a game in 400 hours. Otherwise, you're going to want instant gratification out of the engine. Or you know it. Okay, I am kind of curious to look into this, but I'm not going to fix this now. I just want to find out what's going wrong. So clicking and dragging an item. That would probably come from here and here. And yeah, this. On item display clicked. Clicked item source. Set is handled. No, there's some like distance threshold. We have this in our, I don't remember where we put this. Final level I made in the end turned out pretty neat. Yeah, I'd like to see it. Do you have a clip or something I could take a look at? Invited to try and maintain and update a Java 2D multiplayer project that had been around for over 20 years. Created back in the 90s. Oh my goodness. It does sound like pain. I mean, this has been pain today. There's something that keeps track of a distance threshold. Oh. Distance threshold. Huh. Maybe it's not called distance threshold. Maybe we just search distance too. Ah, here it is. Where was that? This one? Input. Oh no, it's an input event. So if it's mouse motion and there's a button currently pressed. So it's got to be considered held down. Oh my God. Okay. We can probably do that. Maybe. Oh yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah, I can try to check out the VOD this weekend. I mean, I very likely just be skimming it quickly, but I'll write this down. Check out Feyorabon. It's not going to make any sense to me when I read that. All right, so that's where our problem is, right there. Player held item checks if the mouse is held down. So anywhere we do this, which this is the one place in the game where we do this, but anywhere we do this would probably need to get modified to check the virtual cursor to see if it's virtually held down. Oh, man. I wonder if there's a way to just trick the event system into thinking it's held down. Because isn't that what virtual cursor should do? It sends a push. No, an input event mouse button pressed. I wonder if we just said that this is for a different device, what would happen? Let's just set this to 1 and see. Can you just map the different inputs to the same handlers? In the old days, I'd be mapping click, mouse, click, left button, etc. Yeah, and in a lot of cases we do that. In this particular case, we're kind of like hijacking the OS cursor. So when I move this, I'm actually moving the OS cursor. So if I actually just move Skeleseller off to the side, you can see I can still hover over VS Code stuff, but I can't click. I can only click inside Skeleseller. I can't even click to move the window. So we're trying to detect if the left mouse button is held down. And I think maybe we could do that now, but I just kind of hacked it. So let's see. No, that does not work. Hey, Nolix says, I'm doing pretty well. I'm feeling a lot better after the struggles of today. Yeah, so I don't know how we would accomplish this. I think we just need to involve the virtual cursor and check if it's held at the time. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Oh, oh, and then another problem with this, you can't drop items right now. The tooltip says press right click to drop or something. It should probably change to press the cancel button to drop. All right, well, these are things we'll work on next week. I mentioned this earlier today, but I'd be okay with this taking at least another like 4 work days. Not at least. I'd be okay with it taking 4 more work days. I don't think it's going to take that long. And then I want to do a playthrough and see what's frustrating about this. And I was actually debating on what if we notice you're using a controller and we give you 1 more worker by default. And that way you don't have to move as many items yourself because you've got 1 more worker to do that. And yeah, I don't know. I think that might be too much. But yeah, look at this. Controller support. You can apparently drag and move the camera. There's no zoom. I think that's coming in the key binding thing that we have. Yeah, we got settings and everything. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Well, this has been a good day. Wouldn't it be easier if the user chooses what type of controller they use? The game can present text and key bindings based on the chosen flag, or maybe that's already an idea. Just got worried since you said you're allowing multiple devices at once. So generally what I've seen some games do is whatever you touched last, that's what they show shortcuts for. Most people do not mix a controller and a keyboard at the same time. They just use one and then maybe switch to another and then switch back. Yeah. So maybe that's another thing we should write down. For this, we would need to know what you use to spawn the contextual tip. We can check the device ID to see if it's virtual. Hey, who cares? Unfortunately, bad timing. I'm just about to get going. Today has been just a crazy day. Yeah, crazy. I wonder in the future, you know, every once in a while someone mentions that, oh, hey, I'm watching your old VODs. I wonder when they get to this VOD if they're going to be like, yeah, that was painful. All right. Who am I raiding? I am going to go raid L:Q. Good old Clonk. How many people actually ask for it? Curious if it's even worth it. I think it's not so much how many people ask for it as it is we can get Steam Deck approval basically. And then next year there's going to be the Steam controller and the Steam machine. And I think all of these things combined to form like, imagine the Steam player base being this much. This will add like a little bit more on top. So I think it'll increase sales of the game. And also I think this is only going to take about a week. So it's probably worth doing. I think there are going to be very few things that give you that kind of bang for your buck in terms of game development. Like spend a week, get 10% more sales, that sort of thing. Okay, thank you all for watching. I'm going to leave you the clonk. I'll be back on Monday. Should be a full stream. Should be more controller support stuff, but hopefully it goes smoother than today did. Thanks for being here. Have a good weekend, everybody.